Hello internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Creation Miss Couture. And in today's episode we're doing a Leave No Die Behind, and it's a very fun one with colors that I don't usually work with together or that I don't work often with. So let's get into this. Hello friends, so I've been working on developing a collection that I am hoping to launch in May. So this is why this looks so how do I say this? Clustered. Yeah, I need to clean this up, that's for sure. But it also means that I have a bunch of leftover dyes because I mixed my stuff wrong or I was speckling and trying out colors. So we're going to do a Leave No dye. So I have some bright aqua here. And I have over here, this is my, it's a mix I'm doing. So I believe in 2023 I had a winter collection, and in that collection I had one color called Raspberry Jam. So I mixed this by accident because I was I was trying to do something similar to that color but in a different undertone. So I wanted something not as warm or neutral and more on the cooler side of the spectrum, and I mixed Raspberry Jam by accident. So we have this here and we have bright aqua, and we're going to mix them together to see what bright aqua and my raspberry jam color will look together. So let's get into the pan. So I'm going to add my acid right away. I'm adding 9 cups of tap water. And I'm going to add right away some heat because we're still in winter time here. We just had snow. So what I'm going to do is just warm up the water right now. And we're going to use dry skeins of my 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And what I'm doing is I'm going to be adding my bright aqua first, because since I was speckling with it, I don't know how strong the color will be, so I'll do like I did a while back with the pink lemonade video. I'm going to add a little time thingy, and you can watch the video if you want. Couldn't find my spoon, but I got it. It was in the sink. So I don't know how much dye we actually have here, so we shall see. Try to stay over here, please. Stop. Stop. And when I do this technique, I try to like ball the skeins the same way, so we have a color that could be easily reproducible. Just going to lower my other, there we go. I have another pan right next to this one, so it is starting to be a little steamy. So we're going to let this absorb. And what I'm going to do as well is, because I only have 200 milliliter of my raspberry jam color, I'm going to top it to the 400 line, so it would be half the concentration I have for my raspberry jam color, because I have 4 skeins of yarn here. So I'll add some water, I will let this absorb, and I will see you in a bit. It's starting to absorb, as we can see, which is great. Bright aqua, when the skein is already quite damp, usually strike fast. So you can see it hasn't been that long, it's only been like 5 minutes, and you can already see that it has struck the yarn rather nicely, which is fantastic. Yeah. So the yarn isn't fully soaked yet, but it's fine. all the color seems to have been absorbed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unravel the skeins and I will work with what we have there. And I'm trying to have the bare yarn facing up so I can cover most of it. Oops. What the? So I'm opening the skeins a little bit to help with my goal of striking the yarn. So what I think I'm going to do, because we lost quite a bit of liquid, is I'm going to add another 8 cups of tap water. So that way it's going to be easier to get the raspberry jam color onto the skeins. And another reason I'm adding more liquid is because I wasn't comfortable with the level of liquid we had in the pan. Because we don't want to burn the yarn again. We've learned the first time to make sure we have enough liquid in our pan. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, I burned yarn trying to do snow dyeing a while ago. That was that was not fun. Okay, so now I can add my raspberry jam, and I think I'm just going to do an M motion. That should be a very interesting color. And due to the fact that we are putting the pinkish, the more pink color after the bright aqua, we can already see that most of the bright aqua is turning purple, which is good because we like purple in this house. And if you're asking yourself, Catherine, shouldn't you be using thong to make sure that you're not burning your hands? Yes, but it's not quite that hot yet. So we might have to, yeah, we'll have to make a plan for the other side of the yarn. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it right now because to expose the rest of the bare yarn. That's very cute. I like that. You can see where there was more resist. So you can see that there's still a little bit of pigment in the bottom of my cup, so I'm going to add some water to that. Just apply it here. So that takes care of this portion. This is still very bare, and most of the pigment is already in the yarn. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some dry powder and I'm going to speckle a little bit on it, just so we have some. Ooh, I know, I'm going to add hyacinth. Hyacinth is a very pretty color and it has a tendency to spread a lot when you're speckling it, so it will take care of those little spots over here that are not as covered as I wish it would be. So I think I'm going to do it with a strainer, and this time I'm going to try to control the strainer a little bit better because I don't know if you remember, but a few weeks ago I did a leaf no dye, and I added tornado gray with the strainer, and it just like it went everywhere. It was a very pretty result, but it was not the speckle effect I was going for. But in this case, we want this to spread a little bit. So I'm going to grab my respirator and my strainer, and I'll be back. You can already see how it has spread over here. It's going to be very pretty. Yeah. Maybe I should add. So you can see that it has already started to spread over here. So there's certain pigment that will spread a lot. So if you want to keep control over the speckle effect you're going for, you can mix it either with like salt or even citric acid, but not all citric acid and salt are the same fine grain. So if you want bigger speckles, you would go with something that has a bigger grain compared to smaller grains. So that's also the reason why the strainer creates this effect of spread. It's because the pigment separates very finely, so it kind of goes further away. Even with my fingers, it would spread a lot anyways. So we're going to let this cook for half an hour, and we will then turn off the heat, wash it, and we'll let it dry. So see you in a bit. So as usual, when it comes down to my leaf no dye, I'm not expecting much bleeding for this. This one I was a little, not worried, I won't say worried. I was wondering if there would be bleeding due to the fact that I have some magenta in this specific color, and sometimes magenta does have a tendency to bleed a tiny bit, but there was no hint of pink or anything in the pan when I took it, so I wasn't worried that much, just curious. And I'm already really liking the color that I can see here, and I'm just going to put that in the spin dryer and we'll see the result. And here's the final result for our leaf no dye behind. I guess you can see the hyacinth really did spread a lot. So this is why I wanted to use it to cover up those lighter spots. I think it's adding something really pretty and really soft and nice to the final result of the yarn. And this is when I receive often the same question, which is, how do you know what color you're going to obtain? And besides color theory, experience is definitely another one. This is why I mean that I grab the hyacinth, because I knew that it would cover a lot of those strands of yarn. And once you settle the speckles and everything, the color goes deeper into the fiber. So I knew this is what was going to happen. So when I say people that if you want to start dyeing yarn, you need to start. You can't put it off, because at some point, if you don't, you're never going to learn those little things and those subtle things. some dry powders won't spread as much. I'm thinking about, for example, sour apple, because usually there's like bigger grain in the dry powder, so they will stay bigger clump, so it won't spread as much as with a finer fiber. So another one that is very fine and that if you speckle with, you know it won't break and it will also spread a lot is purple pup from Dharma. So that's all come down to experience and working with your fibers, with your dyes. So that's why it's important that you practice, and that's why I don't see trying out with yarn and everything as wasted yarn, because you're always going to learn something. So I guess that's the conclusion that I come with today. We have a pretty yarn. I like the final result. I love working with my leave no dye because I learn something new every time, and I hope you do as well. So if you've liked this video, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in my next one very soon. Bye!